Welcome to the Curious Builder Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Williams, and this is episode 0. So what we're going to do here is just explain a little bit about basically why are we creating a podcast and what is our mission statement. I was on a podcast about 3 months ago. It was AFT Constructions Podcast with Brad Levitt. And since then, I've just had kind of a bee in my bonnet to do something very similar. It was an amazing experience and it was very enjoyable. I went by in a breeze and I thought, well, I'd love to bring kind of a micro Minneapolis market of podcasting surrounding the building industry in Minnesota specifically. And I'm a big fan of The Modern Craftsman with Tyler Grace and with Nick Shifter. And just talking to them a little bit about what they do, how they do it, and kind of what their goals are has been very inspiring. So we are going to be launching the Curious Builder podcast. And the reason of its name is I'm a very curious person, and I'm also a builder in the metro area. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. And what we're trying to do here is basically have a podcast for building pros by a building pro. The Curious Builder is going to be a podcast that gives a voice to Minnesota building industry professionals, providing them a platform to tell their stories about starting and growing their businesses, highlighting challenges and wins, and revealing insights listeners may apply to their own businesses and experiences. We've had a privilege of already pre-recording our first couple episodes that we'll be launching here quite shortly. And even people that I've known for a long period of time, having 1 hour just face-to-face and talking about their businesses has brought out all kinds of new things about them as a person, as well as their business. And so I'm hoping that this show will kind of give voice to those stories. And whenever I listen to a podcast of other builders, like I've mentioned, I usually come away with 2 or 3 different ideas that I can apply to my own business. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to see where the narrative of each episode will go. It'll be a little bit of basically the origin story. How do they start their business? Where are they now? What is it like building in, post-COVID, if you will? And maybe some of them had their businesses back during the late, I would say 2009, 10, 11, 12 recession. And so sometimes it's fun to compare those with these businesses in the early episodes and kind of see what successful strategies that they employed and relationship building practices that they used to kind of navigate that era as well as now. And my hope is that they'll create a lot of buzz here in Minnesota and that we have an amazing talent pool of craftsmen. As I've talked to other builders around the country, I mean, I know this. I'm from Minnesota. My dad was a builder. My grandpa was a builder. My uncles are builders. And it seemed inescapable that I'd be a designer or a builder because my mom was an interior designer as well. So I had it everywhere. But so I've always wondered, like, is it just because I've been surrounded by such great craftsmen that I have undue appreciation for Minnesota craftsmen? And I don't think it is undue. I think we are a very special state that has a very special, unique talent pool. I think it has to do with our heritage. I think it has to do with, the people that gravitate towards Minnesota. And we have an amazing building pool. I also think that our Builders Association, Minnesota Housing First, does a tremendous job at Capitol Hill, helping keep building first, at the legislative mindset, understanding that home ownership is one of the key things that you can do to increase your net worth. And it's also very much tied up with, quote, the American dream. And so all of these things we're coming into as we interview businesses and as we interview people, what works for them and the networking that they have found to be very tangible to their success. And so my hope is that we'll go as deep as people want to about financial things. And if they want to stay higher level, we certainly can. I still think the ideas that we'll be discussing will be very transformative to your own business. And my hope is that you'll, go on to our website, which is thecuriousbuilder.org, that you'll ask questions there, that you'll follow us on our YouTube channel, that you'll come to our parade homes. As my company is Mark D. Williams Custom Homes, we'll usually have a house in the Parade of Homes, the Remodeler Showcase, the Artisan Home Tour, and I can't wait for people to come through and be like, hey, we knew who you were, but we've been following your podcast, and I would love it if clients listen to this as well. I think they'll learn a lot, but I really do think that it's going to be mostly our trade partners, our business partners, and my hope is to have a number of builders on the show because I have a great respect and admiration for how people run their businesses, and I hope we can all learn something while listening to The Curious Builder.